Welcome to Custom Lotus, a podcast where cards are made up and the colors don't matter. I'm your host, Mikio, master of all things top down, and joining me is Noki.
Hello, I am Noki. I do a lot of world building and I pretend to make deep and intricate lore.
Indeed, and so this is the first episode of our podcast. Well, technically the second because the first one was recorded and the audio files got all mixed up, but it was kind of shit. So here we are doing something that will actually be good.
Or better than the first one, at the very least.
The bar wasn't very high. Anyway, so what is Custom Lotus? Custom Lotus is a podcast where we talk about and review custom Magic the Gathering cards.
Yeah, so every week or so, we're going to be scrolling through the top cards of r/custom magic. We're going to be avoiding silver bordered cards because there's really nothing to evaluate since they're illegal everywhere.
Yeah,
Um, every once in a while, we may do a custom set review. And besides that, we'll just be having fun and talking.
yep. So we're going to do the top 15 cards on our custom Magic today, beginning with Restrained Guard. you
I'm seeing Hunter's Snare.
Well, this is starting.
We're looking at the past week.
Oh, we are?
Yeah, that's what we did last time.
Oh, yeah, right. I was doing top past week. Sorry, I was looking at hot. I am sorry, but don't worry, I'll cut it out in editing. So the first card on top is Hunter's Snare.
So Hunter's Snare is an instant for 1 black mana. It is an uncommon, and it says destroy target creature with power or toughness 2. The flavor text is, of course it can catch bears, but why would you limit yourself to that?
So first off, flavor text, complete win.
Yeah, I really like the flavor of this card, especially just looking at the color alignments. Since Grizzly Bears was green, and green is one of Black's enemies. Of course, it
Yeah,
also makes sense because Black is the primary removal color, but it's still kind of interesting looking at that.
yeah. Now, when it comes to actually being playable, you might look at this and think, man, this is complete trash. But honestly, I think it could be playable and maybe modern. Depends on how
I would
many. Hmm.
You can easily see sideboard play in Modern. So against like a Kiln Fiend deck, 1 mana wrecks their entire plan.
Yeah,
Against
because
it's really interesting, but it seems like it would only really see play in a format full of cobble brutes.
that's fair. The thing is, though, I'm looking at this and it's got all the hallmarks of a modern playable card. It is extremely low mana, extremely efficient at what it does, and it is instant speed. Thing is, though, like a card that says counter target spell with converted mana cost 1 was freaking banned from modern because it was too good. So in my mind, this seems at least good enough to see fringe play.
Yeah, I don't really see it being played in main boards, since not every deck in Modern plays 2 power or 2 toughness creatures,
Oh
while
yeah,
almost
no.
every deck in Modern has 1 drops.
You would never play this main board unless you have a very specific matchup that uses a 2 power toughness card as sort of a complete hoser for your deck, and you want it dead as quick as possible. Kind of like how, some decks mainboard Blood Moon to fight against Tron. You fucking
Exactly.
madman. Yeah, I think this could actually also be played in limited.
You would certainly see play in limited, especially since almost everything on curve for turn 2, or even turn 1 if they're playing White Weenie, is going to have 2 power or 2 toughness. Like, that's just a
Exactly.
given fact in limited.
Yeah. As an Orzhov player, I can't feel safe playing a deck that doesn't contain at least 4 of Doomblades and 4 of Murders. So I give this card a pretty good score in my mind, just for, being a very good kill spell. That works in Modern and Limited, but maybe not Standard that much, weirdly enough.
It could probably see play in Standard, again, mostly in sideboards. And
Yeah.
it certainly wouldn't be a commander card.
Oh
It's
yeah, no. But the thing is, though, I feel like in Standard, it's too much of a value fest, while in Modern, it's more utility creatures, which tend to have low power toughness. So, I don't know.
Yeah, it really depends on the type of meta where they're in. But
Absolutely.
I can see that argument being
Yeah.
made.
Also, some very bloody art.
It's not that bad. Nothing
Yeah.
worse than some of the things we've already seen.
Yeah. Grizzly Spectacle. Whew.
Indeed.
Alright, so let's go to the next card, which is Scapegoat. It is a 1 white mana 0/1 goat. It is an uncommon. It has flash, and it says combat damage is assigned to Scapegoat. And it has the flavored text, "He did it! Bruce style."
So this is a fog. It's a fog that you can give indestructible for some shenanigans, but that's not going to come up in most cases. It's maybe going to happen in Commander with an Avacyn, and maybe for 1 turn in Limited with a like a Sheltered Light type effect. But the thing is, if you give your Scapegoat indestructible, it's a symmetrical effect. So if you give your Scapegoat indestructible, you're screwing yourself over for your next turn.
Yeah, it's
Unless,
also
of
got
course, it's
the
light control.
it's also got the issue that the rules text kind of fucks with the magic rules a bit and might cause some actual, like rules confusion and problems in gameplay. That's usually not the wording that's used for these kinds of things. Like, it's pretty clear what it's trying to do, but I feel like it probably could be worded better if it was made by some maybe fancier designers. But I do like the design, because, you could play this and you could like boost its toughness as well, or do something. Like, you don't have to flash this out as a fog. You could use it as, one of White's favorite things, which is to stall the fucking combat.
But at the same time, White in Limited is often also the aggressive color right next to red.
That's fair. Yeah,
So
White can be extremely aggressive, or it can kind of equal blue in terms of, ooh, don't touch me. And this is a
yeah,
pretty ooh, don't touch me kind of card.
in half of your matchups, this is going to be a fog, and in the other half, it's going to be completely unplayable.
Yeah, in Commander though, you could equip Slagworm armor to this guy, give him 8 toughness, and now it takes quite a bit to kill him. But of course, the problem with there's also a green-white enchantment that gives +1/+1 and indestructible if the enchanted creature is white, and +1/+1 and I think reach if the creature is green. So this could also be pretty neat, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is very much.
Certainly...
So it's a bit of a magical Christmas land card if you want it to be anything more than a fog, though.
Yeah, it's certainly interesting design, but I don't really think it would be consistently playable anywhere. Except for Commander, but what doesn't see play in Commander?
Exactly. It's like saying that minced meat goes well in a hamburger. Of course it fucking does. Alright, so let's go to the next card, which hopefully is a bit more, wide in terms of design. It is a legendary creature,
Our next card is Geetha Glass Shaper. She is 3, a blue and a red, for a legendary creature, Elf Artificer. She is a mythic rare. She's a 2/3, and for 1, a blue, a red, and a tap, she creates a token that's a copy of target creature, except it's an artifact, and it has, whenever this creature is dealt damage, destroy it. This is
Oh,
really cool. I love the flavor on this card.
the art is pretty nice too.
Yeah, it's also very powerful. There's a lot of shenanigans with it.
Yeah, I mean, like, you could make a copy of, I don't know, like, this. The thing is, it can copy any kind of creature. So in Commander, this could copy some severe haymakers that really don't need to survive more than one attack, like something with Annihilator, or that
Quick
black,
Hook
black,
Behemoth.
black, black Phyrexian that makes you sacrifice permanents.
Yeah, this is. I really like this card from a flavor standpoint. Mechanically, it's interesting. It's certainly a very Melvin card.
Oh yeah. How busted is it? I don't know. It costs 5 mana, and then you need to pay 3 for the ability. So it's
It feels
also
like
yeah.
it feels like
Also,
very Kiki Jiki.
I guess that's fair. Then again, Kiki Jiki costs nothing to tap.
True, that's why it's been fixed.
Yep. This also, I want to say, could work. This is this basically does nothing if you're playing against a burn deck, though.
Yeah, against a burn deck, it's basically 3 mana and a turn and a swing with your creature to do nothing.
Yeah, and that's even if he lets it attack. Just because a tiny bit of a forked lightning, and boom, it's gone.
Or just bolt it. It's in bolt range.
Oh yeah, it is in bolt range. So yeah. Then again, it's a good thing that burn is almost never played in Commander, but it is to be mentioned that it's got some really fucking bad matchups.
Yeah, this would be a very fun commander to build around.
Yeah.
I doubt that it would be competitive in any way if it were real, but it's certainly interesting.
It's a fun thing that isn't. I don't think is it really has a commander that does something like that too. So
Yeah, the closest we have is the new Verticlad.
yeah, I love that
Even then,
guy,
that's very
but
different.
yeah, Gifa does something pretty different. I also do want to say that in limited, this thing will fucking win games.
Certainly.
And again, you might say most mythics will win you games in limited, but this one let's just copy all of the bombs.
Yeah. I'm just imaginating this with Craterhoof behemoths.
Oof, you're a dirty, dirty man. All right, so this was Gifa. Next card is a land. It is Faithless Sakellum, I guess. It is a rare, and it says Extort, which is whenever you cast a spell, you can pay a white or a black, and if you do, each opponent loses 1 life and gain that much life. And you can tap it for 1 colorless.
Where hope is scarce, coin is not.
A very nice flavor tech, some very nice Orzhov tech. As I said, love Orzhov. If this card existed, it would probably be in all of my commander decks. Honestly, this is such a simple design. I'm surprised they haven't done it already.
Yeah, I mean, they already gave a land Exalted and nothing else.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I mean, it tapped for colorless, but that doesn't matter most of the time.
Well, the thing is, if it wouldn't tap for colorless, it would probably either tap for a white or a black, which means you could tap it for the Exhort, which I think would be a bit too strong.
That's true.
So I don't really have a choice. I mean, it could have been worse. Could have entered the battlefield tapped, which I think would have made it too weak. I think.
Unplayable. And one thing that's kind of interesting to note is that the set symbol is from Avacyn Restored, which takes place on Innistrad. So I'm guessing that they were trying to go for some sort of religious or cult flavor.
I
Uh,
suppose, but this feels extremely Ravnica-ish, especially, the art and the flavor text. Maybe it's an error, because, it's using MTG.design, which is not the greatest program out there for custom cards, in my opinion.
better than MTG Cardsmith.
Once again, the bar is not very high. All right, so the next card is...
MTG design is that it's all built by one guy, so...
Oh yeah, no, it's a very impressive program, but it's just when you have MSC, which is Magic Set Editor for you viewers out there, it's really hard to compare.
Mm-hmm. All right, so our next card is Resource Extractor. It's a black and a green for an artifact at rare, and it says sacrifice a land, add 1 mana of any type the sacrificed land could produce.
If you sell the land, it is the end.
This is absolutely disgusting. I don't like it at all.
Yeah, no. First off, the flavor text is really heavy-handed. Like, holy shit. Oh, and also the card's actually really fucking busted. Holy shit.
Yeah, this is completely broken.
Oh yeah, no. Is it a cool design? Yeah, sure. Is it? Here, it's a 2-mana artifact that will ramp you to a fucking back. Could this make black-green Storm playable? I think it could. Could make anything playable with
This
these.
would be the perfect piece for Genesis Wave.
Yeah, no, this boosts Genesis Wave. This just explodes with the Gitrog monster.
Yeah, this is way too good in my opinion. I can see why it got voted up this high because it is a very good design. It feels very Golgari.
Yeah, no, the design is amazing. Here's the thing though, Golgari doesn't need more help with lands matter. This is like, you've ever seen like Dark Heart of the Woods or Zuran Orb? This is like this design just cranked up to legacy and maybe even vintage playable.
Yeah. I don't like this card just imagining what it would do to constructed formats. And
yeah, just to give you an idea. Yeah, just to give an idea, I actually had a very similar design in one of the sets I did, which the card was called the Edge of the World. It's a land that you could tap and sacrifice another land you control to add 1 mana of any type the sacrificed land could produce. And people were telling me this was busted. Now look at this shit that can do it infinitely better for 2 mana. It's like, jeez.
Yeah, Verdict is way too good.
Yeah, no. If they printed that in real life, I think people would get aneurysms.
Yeah.
All right. So next card is Epokiv Loan. Man, they busted out the thesaurus for this one. So it is a sorcery, and it costs 4 colorless, a black, a green, and a blue. It's a mythic rare, and it says, search your library for a card and put it into your hand. Then shuffle your library. Choose a card you own from outside the game and put it into your hand. Return a card from your graveyard to your hand. Exile Epokiv Loan. Also, it has some flavor text that kind of explains what it is. 1 past, 1 present, 1 future. No duplicate loans. Late returns will be punished. Terms of service.
So this is very interesting. It does feel very Sultai Treasury.
Yeah.
I feel like it's way too slow to see play outside of Limited, though.
Yeah, because here's the thing. At 7 mana, if a spell costs 7 mana or more and doesn't win you the game, then it's probably too slow for Standard, Modern, or other things like that, with some exception like Dragonstorm or whatever.
Yeah, it would definitely see play in Commander, even though you're only fetching 2 cards. It still tutors and gives recursion, which is very good.
Oh yeah, right, because you
Uh,
can't get cards outside the game in Commander. That's right. But yeah, no. 2 mana tutors get something back might be played, especially in cards that cheat out sorceries anyway and are in these colors.
yes. So yeah, I'd say that this is very interesting. It feels too slow to see play, but I would definitely try to have some fun with it if it existed.
Oh yeah, it's definitely fun. Like you could do some good. This is a good combo fueler. Like if you're playing some kind of turbo control ending with combo, I think this could be a good way of getting all the pieces in if you can't get them fast enough.
Exactly. Like this is especially a very good combo card for Commander.
Yep. This any kind of tutors that costs less than 5 would be played, but I think because this also does some recursion, it's alright. Like Diabolic Tutor is 5 mana, and generally returning something from the graveyard is between 1 and 2, so works out, I guess.
Hmm.
Alright, so next card.
Our next card is Commonwealth. It is a white and a white for an enchantment at rare. It says at the beginning of your upkeep, draw a card if an opponent has more cards in hand than you. Its flavor text is merchants in the free cities are notoriously picky about coin, but spice is worth its weight anywhere. This feels like a this feels like it should be a bit more blue in my opinion, but I do understand the white flavor with keeping balance. It feels a lot like land tax in a way.
Yeah, well, I actually really like Commonwealth because it's an aspect of white I feel isn't really being explored by wizards right now. The sort of idea that white tends to be able to do about anything as long as somebody is doing it better than them.
Yeah,
And
they're, they're
we've seen
concept
this
of
a lot with, as you said before, land tax is the originator of that, but you also have like I think it's called like Knight of the White Orchid, which just
Mhm.
which is it's 2 mana, gets you a planes, put it into play untap, but you do need somebody to have more lands than you. And it's got a lot of cards like this, generally about lands. And white is a color, along with red, that really freaking needs card advantage. I feel like,
Yes,
especially in Commander, and I think just Commonwealth might actually do the job.
most certainly. It's gonna be it would definitely see play if it were printed, I think. And it kind of evokes that old color philosophy of Magic where white was all about balance instead of just we're the greatest and the best and we love everyone.
Yeah, it's something that's been kind of lost in translation. Damn
Exactly.
you, Mark Rosewater! Yeah, I think it would be played. Maybe not in standard. Probably not in modern. Maybe some standard decks. If it would be on right now, would probably be played in a Coming of the Second Sun, I guess. But Commander
I
would
feel like
be amazing.
it would if it were in standard, it would see play as a sideboard card in the mirror match against control.
Ooh, you're right. You're right. I'm not saying the big picture here. Okay, so that's Commonwealth. Let's go to the next one. The next card is Mad Wanderings. You're there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So it is a enchantment. It's a, I think, mythic rare. It is 3 colorless and a Rakdos mana, which is either a black or either a red. And it says your maximum hand size is 0. Also, it does some other things. Whenever you deal damage, discard that many cards, then draw that many cards. And land you controls have tap. This land deals 1 damage to you. Fucking hell.
This is certainly a Rakdos card. I hate it.
Yep, it's Rakdos, all right.
I don't like this design. It does practically nothing for you because the turn after it goes off, your hand is worthless. You have one card, you're dealing a damage to yourself, filtering it out, drawing something else, and if you don't have enough lands or enough life to get the thing that you need, then this is a suicide play.
This is
Not gonna get
definitively this is a power play. You play this, everybody's gonna look at the table and be like, "Does he have a plan?" And I do want you to consider this: Lightning Bolt does become 1 mana draw 3.
It's 1 mana and a life for 0 card advantage.
Yeah.
It's card filtering.
I mean, alright, let's be honest. First off, this is way too bad to be Mythic Rare, but if it's anything but Mythic Rare, people are going to be extremely angry, and for good reasons. Because,
especially for limited.
Yeah, no. If this would be in a set, I would call it the traditional unplayable red Mythic.
Because every set has to have one.
Yeah, like Indomitable Creativity. Or that thing of the Firebird from Ixalan that kind of cascades, I guess.
Sunbird's Invocation was just rare. But yeah, I see what you mean.
It's generally a mythic, but sometimes it's a rare.
Or Malignus from Avacyn Restored.
Yeah. At that point, I'm just waiting each new set to see, alright, what's the garbage red rare or mythic this time around? And I'm never disappointed. I mean, I'm always disappointed, but I get what I expect.
You're disappointed, but you're not.
Yeah. This card might be played in like one combo deck that's just fucking insane. But other than that, I don't see this being played anytime ever.
I guess it could be played in Legacy Reanimator. But yeah, that's about it.
Oh yeah, no, this card will discard your hand. It might do it better than one with nothing, honestly.
Because one with nothing is a one-off thing. Well, this can repeatedly do it for you, so you can just dump anything you need into your yard.
So yeah, you know what? I think that's a good achievement to have. Better than one with nothing. Or at least better job than one with nothing.
Better than one with nothing for what one with nothing does.
Yep. Good job, dude. Alright, next card.
Our next card is Mirror's Claim. It is 5 and triple blue for a sorcery at rare. It says gain control of target permanent and create a token that's a copy of it.
Hey, it's Blue Ramp.
Blue Ramp at 8 mana.
Yes. So you can ramp into playing Omniscience, obviously.
Why not just take someone's Omniscience and then copy the Omniscience?
Yes, now we're talking.
So, this is very blue, very interesting.
Yeah.
This is the kind of stuff that I love about blue. It's just such an interactive color.
Oh yeah, this could be a alright control finisher against shit like Scarab God, or Eldrazi's.
I mean, against anything aggressive, really.
Actually, maybe not, because you can't actually use this to copy legendaries.
True, but you still steal their legend.
That's fair. You do get so it's also alright. So it's an 8 mana kill spell for legendaries, and it's an 8 mana blue ramp. Man, the color pie is getting destroyed.
It's it's blue ramp, but in a way that is tried and true blue. This
Yeah,
is
no.
blue ramp, but it feels like blue ramp, and it
Oh yeah, no.
doesn't even have to be ramp.
I'm just memeing here. This is something that is extremely. It's expensive, yes, but it will probably win you the game, and it's got a lot of usage.
Imagine this with Jaleva.
Ooh. Now we're talking.
Competitive Commander got a brand new toy.
I wouldn't say that, but it dies to red elemental blast
Eh,
or guttural. Oh wait, no, guttural response is instance. But yeah,
and
so
only instance,
mm,
and only the blue ones.
but hey,
Yeah, this is. I love this design a lot.
yeah,
I like
it's pretty
the.
good. I mean, it doesn't beat my favorite blue card, which is Conjured Currency, but it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next card is Sunblast. It is a sorcery at 4 colorless white white. It's a rare, and it says you may pay white white and untap 2 tapped creatures an opponent control rather than pay the spell's mana cost. Destroy all tapped creatures.
The
And it's
people
got the
begged
flavor.
for a miracle. The sky responded.
Oh, this is my jam.
This is a pretty sweet callback too. So, for those of you who don't know, this is a reference to Sunblast Angel from Scars of Mirrodin, which had this same effect with minus the cost reduction, and it was attached to an angel.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. You're right. Well, this is pretty this is probably better than Sunblast Angel. I mean, the Sunblast Angel gives you an angel, but this can get really cheap. And in Commander, at least, this is an amazing political tool, though, because you could
Yeah, like
you could Sunblast.
Valkyrie
Actually,
Global.
I may have a stupid combo though. You play Disrupt Decorum. Next turn, you play Sunblast.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Now you're playing with Boros.
Yeah, this is what Boros is supposed to be.
Two
So yeah,
card combos that cost more than 5.
I like this card a lot. It,
Yeah,
as Mikio was saying, it's also a very interesting political tool. Like, hey, I'll save your best creatures if you don't aggro me.
yeah. Also, people are always clamoring about wanting 4 mana rafts. This can be a 2 mana raft, kids.
Mhm.
All right, so let's go to the next card.
Our next card is Holographic Stamper. It is an artifact for a generic mana, and non-token permanents and spells cannot be copied. And it has a very silver-bordered flavor text. Proxies are fine, just no counterfeits.
All right, so yeah, this is a very meta card, as I said. So yeah, as Noki said, it is very silver bordered in what it's referencing, but on a mechanical scale, it is pretty black bordered, I suppose.
Yeah, it still feels very unplayable.
Yeah, like I was gonna say, it's cheap enough to maybe be modern sideboardable, but modern has no decks that really do copy
M-
spells.
Modern sideboard against Storm, and that's it.
Oh, because yeah, it's also spells that can't be copied. However, I feel like Storm is just getting hosed right now with sideboard cards, though. So
Damping Sphere and
that amulet thing that also hoses tokens for some fucking reason.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is a nice idea. In actual usefulness, though, it's not amazing.
It's a 1-mana sideboard card against Storm instead of a 2-mana sideboard card against Storm.
Yeah, I know. This is a 1-mana joke. Let's be honest.
Yeah. So mechanically, it's very black bordered. It could see print in a set. I don't see why it would be, but it could be. But yeah,
I mean, they're putting so much jank against Storm right now. I could see it being printed.
Mm-hmm. Certainly
And
not with this name, art, and flavor text, but
yeah. So let's go to the next card. It is Apex Predator. It is 1 black, 1 red, and green, so Jund. It is a rare beast. It's a 3/3, and as an additional cost to cast Apex Predator, sack a creature, and it has First Strike, Death Touch, and Haste. With the flavor text of, its species could have not been determined, since no one has survived an encounter with one.
so yeah, this thing is kind of brutal. I've been saying this a lot, but it's very the color identity that it is.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of this is a lot what you get on our custom Magic. You get a lot of single one-off designs that are basically supreme boiled down archetypes and things to be clever enough to reach the front page.
Mm-hmm.
Just how this guy managed to get to the top of the food chain.
Kind of funny because it's an Apex Predator. Get it, guys?
Yeah. So it's a 3/3 for 3 with First Strike, Death Touch, and Ace, so it's definitely really fucking good. And if you're playing Jund, sacrificing creatures tend to be a bonus.
It's half of your game plan.
Yeah.
I do think that the price is a bit steep, though. But yes, seeing that it's Jund, sacrificing creatures is usually a good thing.
Yeah. Because as we've seen before, though, generally three different color creatures can tend to be higher on the power chart than their CMC could imply.
I.e., Siege Rhino.
Yeah. So this is fair. Feels kind of like a Jund Siege Rhino, really. It's not big enough, but this is something it's definitely gonna say to people, if you attack me, you will probably not like it.
Yeah, it's basically Jund abilities the card.
Yeah, he protect, he attack, but mostly he sack. Alright, I'm gonna go and shoot myself now.
He protect, he attack, but when you cast him, you must sack.
Oh, that's way better.
Alright, so our next card is Usurper's Coup. It is 4 and a black for an instant at uncommon. Usurper's Coup costs 4 less to cast. If it targets a creature controlled by the monarch, and it says, destroy target creature, you become the monarch.
Nice.
Very beautiful. I love the flavor.
Yeah, for those who don't know, though, the monarch is a mechanic from Conspiracy. Take the crown, and it's basically when you're the monarch, you draw a card at the end of your turn, and if somebody deals combat damage to you, they become the monarch.
And there can only be one monarch at a time. So they lose their monarchy, and you become the monarch when you cast this card.
Yeah. Now, if this somehow would be in a standard legal set for some fucking reason, let's say Wizard of the Coast has truly lost their mind, it would actually be better than most removal they do nowadays for some fucking reason, at common or uncommon, really. Because this is 5 mana, destroy a creature at instant speed which kind of reads draw a card as well. And nowadays it's like 5 or 6 mana sorcery speed, destroy a creature. I don't fucking get why they're casting kill spells so high right now.
I mean, we're still getting Murder and Doomblade every once in a while, but that's been like 2 cards out of the entire standard environment.
Not Doomblade anymore, but we did get a reprint of Murder.
Yeah, Doomblade's going away, and it's very sad.
Yeah, well, they don't want to do like color hosers, and that's kind of similar. I suppose they could reprint the Doomblade that can't target artifact creatures.
Go for the throat.
Yeah. Now, it's been a while since they reprinted the Go for the Throat, so maybe. But yeah, this is not about Go for the Throat or Doomblade. This is a Supers Coup. It is
so
freaking nice.
It's a very nice design. I like it a lot.
If they made
doesn't break
Conspiracy
anything.
3, yeah. If they made Conspiracy 3, this would be amazing unlimited. And in Commander, this is awesome because Black doesn't actually have that many cards that give the Monarch. Actually, no, it's more White that has less Monarch cards. But this is a nice way of becoming the Monarch. It's a nice way of really giving you some advantage because you get to kill something, probably a big threat at instant speed even, and then you're going to draw a card at the end of your turn, which really puts you up. Yeah, I don't think we've ever had a kill spell that cantrips.
There's probably been one obscure one somewhere, but yeah, it's really rare if it's ever happened. So yeah, it kind of hits all the marks for me. It doesn't break anything. It's not completely pointless. It's an interesting effect, and it seems nice.
Yeah. Now, obviously, would this be playing Modern? No, of course not. Would this be playing Standard? It wouldn't be. Limited, awesome. Commander, awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, in Constructed, it wouldn't make much of a benefit because in Constructed, it's just going to be 5 mana kill a creature. Because the Monarch is a very multiplayer effect.
So yeah, that is the thing. And now we shall go to the next card, which is Goodberry Bush. It is a 0/3 plant for 1 green. It's a rare, and it says, at the beginning of your upkeep, put a berry counter on Goodberry Bush. Remove a berry counter from it. Target creature gains +0/+1 until end of turn. Remove 10 berry counters from among plants you control. You gain 20 life. Remove 100 berry counters from among plants you control. You win the game.
Helix Pinnacle.
I feel like this is slower than Helix Pinnacle, though.
Well, depending on how much support berry counters get in this set, assuming that it's going to be a set, then it seems like it could be a second copy of Helix Pinnacle in a lot of cases.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. I feel like if this gets enough support, it shouldn't be hard to get the 10 berry counters. And at that point, I feel like gaining 20 life is better, especially since you can do it at instant speed.
I kind of agree with that.
Now, I do want to say, though, the art is fucking adorable.
It is very cute. It's this little serpent lying under what looks to be a raspberry bush.
It's very nice. Kind of a like a strawberry flavored pseudo dragon.
Mm-hmm. I do have a bit of a I do really like alternate win conditions.
Oh
especially when that condition is different from the other ones.
Yeah, let's be real. Yeah, let's be real.
Listen to Helix Pinnacle because it's 100 counters to win the game, but you gain them in very different ways.
Now, this is I mean, let's be real. Almost every alternate win con is jank. They're kind of made to be jank. This fits pretty well with it. Like, if this card was the only card to make berry counters, it might still see play if you put it in a proliferate deck, I feel.
Yeah, like put this in a Traxa, and she's probably going to win with it at least once.
Yeah. Now, I don't think there's any like modern legacy or vintage decks that use proliferate, because it's a bit of a mechanic that's too slow for these formats. But
Yes.
I think I might put a copy of it in my level up deck, which also includes proliferate.
Mm-hmm.
If you're asking, yes, this deck is very bad, but I like it. So yeah, good berry bush. It's very nice.
Yeah.
But it's not amazing.
Mm-hmm. So our next card is a double-faced card. It is Restrained Guard, which it starts as Restrained Guard, which is a red and a white for a human soldier werewolf at uncommon. It is a 2/2 with vigilance, and whenever it and at least 2 other creatures attack, transform it. And it transforms into War Runner Legionnaire, which is a 3/2 with first strike. It attacks each turn with able, and whenever it attacks alone, transform it back. And the flavor text is he keeps himself composed while at his post. But when his brothers march, he eagerly gives in to his true nature.
This is pretty
So it's
nice.
kind of interesting. We've never seen a Boros werewolf.
Yeah.
They've all been gruel for flavor reasons, but if it ends up being in all 3 of the colors at some point, I could see like a Naya werewolf happening because of beast.
Right. I do have a thing though that's a bit weird in my mind though, and it's that I feel like when he transforms, he doesn't really get much. Like he goes from a 2/2 with vigilance for 2, which is pretty alright, to a 3/2 with first strike that must attack each combat, which I don't know, to me feels a bit weak.
Yeah. Of course, Battalion isn't that much of a hoop to jump through in Boros.
I guess
But
that's fair.
I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah, I don't know. Feels like it could use a bit of a much. And again, you might say it's an uncommon, it's a 2 CMC card, and I guess that's fair. It would definitely see play in limited, might see play in standard. I do feel like it could use a little bit of an extra spice at the end, an extra bit of pepper or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like the best place for it would honestly be the werewolf being a 2/2 with double strike.
Ooh, I'm sorry. That's yeah, no, that might be better.
But then that kind of begs the question, is Battalion enough of a hoop to jump through?
Yeah, well, the thing is,
that's the nature of custom cards.
yeah, no, I mean that's the thing. Battalion, not the biggest hoop, but then you get something with a downside as well, which is that he needs to attack each combat.
That is true.
That's the thing that's making me look back. Now it makes sense with the how you transform him back, and sometimes you might want to turn him back into a 2/2 with vigilance. So I can kind of get behind that. I think the downside is flavorful enough that it should be there, but I feel like the downside wasn't accounted for with the stats or the abilities.
Yeah.
So it's good, but could use a bit much, I think. Could use a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So how about we go to the next card, which is Eminent Domain. Ooh, that's some nice stuff. I would say it's topical, but it's not really. So it is a red, a white, and a blue. Oh, that's cheeky. Gain control of target land. Oh, it's a sorcery. Its controller creates an artifact token named Gold. It has sacrifices artifact at 1 mana of any color. It's an uncommon, and the flavor text is, "Sorry I built over your village. Here's some gold."
So this is another card that feels very black bordered in effects, but very silver bordered in flavor.
Yes. Now, of course, the flavor text is a reference to an older Magic card.
It's called Reparations. And whenever something happens, you draw a card, or that player draws a card.
Something like that. And it was like, "Sorry I burnt your village. Here's some gold." Now, the thing that makes this a little bit too on the nose, first is the fact that it's red, white, and blue, which is America colors, and is the effect red, white, and blue?
I mean, the blue part is the only thing that makes sense.
Actually, no. The blue part gained controls of it. The white part gives gold. Because if white's going to do something of an asshole nature, it tends to give something back. The red is just there for the fucking meme of it.
Yeah.
And it's a good meme.
I guess that it balances the card a bit, but that balance isn't. It's not enough, in my opinion, because it's 3 mana ramp in non-ramp colors.
That I didn't think of that. Yeah, that's another issue.
It also sets someone else back.
Yeah, they do get the gold, which kind of helps, but they are really set back. This would see play in standard for sure.
Oh yeah, it would probably be banned in standard just for being so mean, so rude.
Depends how much fixing there is in that meta. Because if this is Ravnica levels of fixing, this thing's gonna get the fucking axe. If this is Ixalan levels of fixing, probably is gonna be fine.
Yeah, after rotation, in this current standard environment, it would get the ban hammer. After rotation, though, like, depending on how much fixing Ravnica has, which is hopefully enough, but if it somehow gets so screwed over that it doesn't have any, like, after rotation and there's no new fixing, this is gonna be garbage, absolute garbage.
Yeah, and just the fact that we can talk about this and say, "Oh, this is busted," and "Oh, this is garbage," kind of shows the design is not great. But that's sometimes what you get in our custom Magic. Sometimes you just get some memes, and this is a good meme, Brent. This is a good meme.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not a very good card.
And the verdict is silver border.
Nice.
All right, so our next card is Freyalise's Presence. It is 1, a green and a green for a legendary enchantment at rare. As Freyalise's Presence enters the battlefield, choose a season. At the beginning of your upkeep, choose the next season in the cycle. Spring follows winter. Ooh. So if you choose Spring, whenever a player plays a land, they create a 1/1 green sapperling creature token. Summer is sapperlings have tap at a green. Fall, creatures have sacrificed this, gain 4 life. In winter, all lands are snow. Whenever a land is tapped for mana, return it to its owner's hand.
This is pretty interesting.
I've said this a lot as well, but great flavor.
Flavor. This is what you get a lot of flavor on custom Magic, because they really need to resonate to get to the top. I do have some mechanical hiccups, I would say. And the first up is I really have a problem with Summer, because it's specific to sapperlings, which means you either always want to start with Spring to get the bonus of Summer, or you just want to use this in a Sapperling deck and nothing else, because if not, then Summer's completely useless.
Mm-hmm.
I
Well,
feel like maybe Summer should have changed, like, probably too good, but maybe like green creatures tap for green, or something like that.
or like at the beginning of each of your main, at the beginning of each player's main phase, that player adds 1 green mana.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, of course, it's a bit crowded. It's already at 9 lines, so I can get why I decided to go with something that's really short. That's something to be, remembered when you're making cards. Now, I feel like this is good enough to have 9 lines of text, though, but yeah.
The effect is very interesting. It would certainly, I'd say that it would see some play in sealed, probably not draft because it's just too slow. But in sealed, it would probably be able to do something.
Yeah.
Everywhere else, it doesn't really have much of a point, except for maybe Slimefoot the Stowaway deck in Commander.
Yeah. Commander decks, always, it's playable in Commander. Frickin' duh. Yeah, it's nice. It's pretty good. Kind of reminds me of Sagas, except better, which is always nice.
It's also the way that its effect goes, kind of reminds me of the old card Homerid,
Oh
which is
yeah,
kind
that
of
guy with the tide counters and shit.
yeah, it's an interesting thing to go back to.
Yeah. Now this doesn't use counters of any kind, but yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, I don't know if it's good, but it's definitely a fun card, and choosing when you start it is a bit of a mini game in itself, which is always nice to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So next card, Wall of Mirrors, not Hall, Wall. It is a 0/1 creature wall. It's a rare, and it costs 2 colorless and blue. It has Defender. It says whenever Wall of Mirrors blocks a creature, create a token that's a copy of that card blocking that creature. Then return Wall of Mirrors to your hand. Man, we're getting a lot of copy tonight, aren't we?
Yes, I think that we've had 3 cards already at the very least.
Yeah, this is the 4th.
Oh wow.
But it is pretty damn sweet, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like it. It seems like it would have a lot of really fun things, like
Yeah.
responding to the trigger with a with Deadeye Navigator.
Ooh. I am wondering if it's a bit too good, though. Because this is I mean, Blue has had defenders that can't die before. But yeah, this basically sets you back 4 mana each turn as long as something is attacking you each turn. But you can always recast it. And even that, you always get like +1 in card advantage each time you recast it, because it's going to make a copy when it comes back. So it may not look like it, but this is a value engine right there.
Yeah, so if you have something with a bunch of ETB triggers, like yeah, just something that takes advantage of things entering the battlefield, like Soul Sisters, then this is going to be amazing value. Like
Yeah.
this could open up blue-white Soul Sisters to exist.
Ooh, that sounds nasty. Although, it is completely fucking useless against a token deck.
Yeah. Of course, everything has its counter. This one
Yeah,
just doesn't do anything against tokens.
except like True Name Nemesis. Except flanking, actually. Flanking goes around True Name Nemesis. But yeah. Although, luckily for it, the only real token deck in Modern is Elf Ball, if I recall correctly.
Yep.
Which, I mean, it's gonna take a lot to stop Elf Ball, so...
Of course, knowing Modern, that's going to change by the time we say this, but yeah.
Maybe. Although, I really don't think tokens have the support they need to really win this out right now. Maybe we'll get something like Assemble the Legion again in the new Ravnica sets, which could open up the place for tokens. I don't know.
Return to Ravnica.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Return to the power of fifth to Ravnica. Alright, so our next card is Hourglass Elemental. It's 4 a blue and a blue for an 8/8 creature elemental. So, of course, with an above curve creature in blue, what's the downside? Well, it has Vanishing 3, and you can tap it to flip Hourglass Elemental into itself and put 3 time counters on it.
Because, yeah, this is a, this is a big old sandwich of things that Wizard of the Coast don't do. First off, it's a card that uses 2 outside set mechanics, being Vanishing and Flip cards. By the way, for those that don't know at home, Vanishing basically says at the beginning of your upkeep, remove a time counter. When you remove the last one, you sack it. And flipping it literally means you just flip it completely the other side. And this card has the exact same side. Because, of course, it's like an hourglass. You flip it, then, the sands goes the other way now.
Yeah, it would be... I feel like it would be a lot better for it to transform into something like a 0/3 with Defender, that at your upkeep it puts a fading counter on it.
Probably. Like, generally, white, blue always gets a, token giant creature that with a stupid downside each set. And, this is a stupid enough downside. It is a big enough beater for blue. But I feel like it's actually a bit too good.
Its downside isn't even a downside.
Yeah, no.
You're slowing yourself down a turn.
Oh,
Not
no.
that bad.
The humanity. Now, to be fair, it has no evasion, but...
That's true.
And
but
generally, you could just pay 1 blue and, enchant it so it has flying.
Yeah, I feel like it's way too good and tried to go way more for flavor over function.
Yeah.
And that just made it devolve into bad design.
It is trying way too hard to be cute. It is quite cute, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, no art, which docks a couple of points in my book. Now, then again, you basically need to open up Photoshop to do flip art, but still.
I mean, he could just put an hourglass in the art.
Yeah. And just put like some googly eyes or something, I don't know.
So yeah, a bit too cute, a bit too flavorful. Never thought I'd say that.
So, the next card, it is Festival Charmer. It is a 0/2 for a blue and a red. It's a rare human rogue, and it says, whenever Festival Charmer attacks and isn't blocked, draw a card. For 1 and a blue, he can't be blocked this turn. And for 1 and a red, change the target of target spell that targets only Festival Charmer, with some flavor text of, what would a party be without me?
Well, this is a card.
It is definitively a card. Now, It's a draw engine for 2, I suppose. It's a okay mana sink, I suppose. It dodges most removal, to be fair. If you try and
Well,
Doomblade it, you can, Doomblade
pay 2
something else.
mana and Doomblade one of their homies. Yeah. But then they just don't target it.
Yeah.
I will say that it's pretty inefficient.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that it's got no power as well, I think is like, I get it. Drawing cards and being unblockable is really good, but you could have at least given it 1 power.
Yeah, make it a 1/1.
I get it. It's a nice card. It's a cool design. I don't think it's something I've seen often, but it's not interesting that much,
Yeah, it feels like it feels like is that things like blue and red doing blue and red things and then combining them together into something that just
It's
isn't.
yeah, is it? That's all, folks.
It tries to do a bit too much, in my opinion. But of course, that's the nature of custom Magic.
Yeah. Until you go into set reviews, that's a lot of what you get, for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to be fair, from what I've seen of other custom card communities, that's often the case, because it's the only way to get to the top of the subreddits. And sometimes you do get some really freaking good designs. Sometimes you
And
get,
other times, well, keyword soup.
which is always nice. If you really want to look at keyword soups, though, look at YMTG Cardsmith. Amazing blog. Every
Ah,
custom Magic Redditor knows it. We should go through that at one point for like Friday the 13th.
yes. Or like record it beforehand and then upload it on Halloween.
Yeah. Actually, it's getting kind of close to Halloween. Kind of psyched.
Yeah, me too. All right, so I think that after this card, we should both get one more card and then be done. So
Yep.
after Unstable Hedron, we both get another card and then end the podcast.
Yeah.
So Unstable Hedron is a 3-mana artifact at rare. It has 4 tap and exile Unstable Hedron to exile all non-land permanents. Any player may activate this ability. And the flavor text is simply Ugin saying oops.
Well, we've saying that a lot, and I'm probably gonna say that a lot, and I'm gonna keep fucking saying it as long as we do this fucking thing. This is playable in Commander and pretty much only in Commander.
Yeah, it gives everybody a panic button, and that's just not something you want. Because you're gonna play it, they'll say, okay, cool, I'll exile anything and then play a Llanowar Elves.
Mm. I mean, let's be fair. This is we've had designs like this before where any player can activate an ability that will fuck shit up. But this is like the biggest of fucking shit up, which I suppose fits for Ugin, who can't stop fucking shit up. But it's another kind of funky, colorless board wipe dot card.
Yeah, it's kind of like feels like a faster but strictly worse O-Stone.
Yup. It's a nice card. Props on them for finding something that looks like a Hedron without being, magic fan art.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, This is something you'd get in a Commander Precon, and maybe sometimes you'll see it on EDH Break. You're like, oh, this might be cool, and then you put it in your deck and you realize, oh, this is why this is not played.
Yeah.
But hey, it's neat. I like Hedrons.
And I
So,
like board wipes.
yep. So let's go for the next card. Forsake the Old Ways. It's a sorcery for 2 colorless and 1 white. It's a rare, and it says sacrifice an enchantment. If you do, search your library for an artifact card with converted mana cost X, where X is to sacrifice enchantment's mana cost plus 1. Put it on the battlefield and shuffle your library. And it's got the flavor text of the fires of industry will burn away the old superstitions.
I love this. I love this card as a Vorthos. I absolutely love this card flavorfully.
Yeah, well, the flavor text really ties the card together, as the dude would say. In terms of actual usability, it's a
Yeah.
one-use thinker, I guess, or food chain.
Mechanically, it's too unfocused, I'd say.
Well, I mean, here's the thing: would it see play? Maybe in combo decks. Once again, in Commander, probably. Actually, maybe even not, because generally in Commander, decks are very centered. If you have an artifact deck, you probably don't have enchantments. And those you have, you probably don't want to get rid of because they're important, and vice versa. So,
Yeah, it feels a bit too mechanically confused. The flavor is absolutely beautiful.
yeah,
I could see this being in like some sort of Theros set where some sort of there's some sort of new rebellion against the gods, and technological advances are the way of doing that.
would be cool. Probably wouldn't have the balls to do it. But yeah, that's the danger you go to when you do top down. Sometimes you're in too deep with the top down and you end up with a mishmash of mechanics that don't really synergize with anything.
Yeah.
Like tutors that aren't in black tend to be pretty good. This is kind of okay, but it's like maybe one deck want to use this, but nothing else will. That's the thing, and that's not an amazing design.
Mm-hmm.
Although, from what I've seen of Hearthstone custom cards, that always the design like, oh, this would be good in that very specific deck and nothing else. And I'm like, but that's a bad thing, though. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. All right. So our last card for today is Darlan, Weaver of Fate. It is Wooburg for a legendary avatar. It is a 5/5 at Mythic, and whenever you cycle a card, you may return target card from your graveyard to your hand. All are subject to the whims of fate.
Now, part of the problem with this card is that the way it's worded is that if you have something like Street Wraith, which you can get back quite easily, you basically have a card that says, pay 2 life, draw 50 bajillion cards. But from what I've seen of the creators' comments, this is not how it's meant to go. So I would personally say we judge the card as if the layers issue is fixed and you can't get the card that you just cycled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a very interesting design for a cycling commander. I will say that. Like, we've never had that, and this is probably what I'd do if I were tasked with building a
Yeah.
cycling commander.
It's
'Cause
also the second legendary we got today, which is kind of odd. Last time we recorded the episode that got lost. We had like something like 5 or 6 or maybe even 7 legendaries.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. It feels like modern sometimes, like the things that get popular on r/custom magic.
I
It's
guess
always
people were
been
getting hyped
here,
for the precons.
probably.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure this card came from a comment in the last Command Zone episode where they talked about there not being a specific commander for cycling, and as an example for some other dumb topics where they were talking about, which is some nice background info about this. At least the timing seems to fit. It's a neat
Yeah.
thing. It's another Wooburg commander, which there is not a lot of, so there's that.
Mm-hmm.
At least
I
there's not a
almost
lot of
would.
good ones.
Yeah, I almost would have preferred if this were 4 colors.
Honestly,
But
me too. But
just
yeah,
to kind of fill that void.
yeah,
But I mean, having a good playable Wooburg commander is always nice.
yeah. Honestly, I think like something that he could have done is he could have made it 4 color and then have a activated ability on the card as like commander cycling for the missing color. So it's got Wooburg color identity, but it's easier to cast.
So like as long as this is in your command zone, you may pay its command cycling cost to draw a card.
And discard it from into your graveyard. I think yeah. Because let me just remind you that the command beacon, the land that puts your commander in your hand, thus subverting the commander tax, is pretty crazy expensive. I think it's something like $30. If you could like pay like I don't know, like white to put your commander in your graveyard and draw a card, I think it would actually be used. I'm not just
Mhm.
memeing here. But hey, of course, this isn't my card, and this is a good enough design as it is. If he
Yeah.
fixes the layers issue, because right now this is busted, but
Yeah, like it should be whenever you cycle a card, you may return another card from your graveyard to your hand.
yeah. Or you may return a street wraith card from your graveyard to your hand. Something like that.
You may return a card with cycling cost that is mana from your graveyard to your hand.
Now we're talking. Now we're cooking with gas.
So yeah, that's all of our cards for today. I hope
Yep.
you enjoyed this very rough first episode. We spent about half an hour setting up for this, so let's just hope it turned out well.
Yeah.
And we will see you again next week-ish.
Yep.
Goodbye.
Have a good afternoon wherever you are. Wish you all a good night. See ya on the web.